to see more for part 2. Would like to see more like to see part 2. Make part 2. Make part 2. Laughing emojis part 2. Great video. You must make a part 2.
Okay then, here we go. Welcome to Balkan Parents, part 2. As you already know if you've watched part 1, which, in case you haven't, I highly advise you to do because this video will make a lot more sense, Balkan parents are a different breed of human beings. I say that because their brain works a bit differently. That's not necessarily a bad thing, they usually have good intentions, but the reality is some stuff they do is just weird and unnecessary. Buying furniture. How does buying furniture look like in a normal family? Mom and dad, sometimes maybe even children, go to a store like IKEA and they buy furniture that goes together. Now why did I say they buy furniture that goes together? I mean, obviously they're gonna do that. Well, apparently if you're a Balkan dad, you do things differently. Only two things are important when it comes to buying furniture. Number one, if it's on sale, because for some reason, anything that's on sale should be immediately bought, even if they're never gonna use it. And number two is functionality. Aesthetics. Yeah, this word isn't a part of their vocabulary. So as a result, Balkan dads, or at least mine does this, they bring home furniture that doesn't match other furniture. I still have cabinets in the bathroom that are different shades of white. Email passwords. When it comes to using electronics such as phones, iPads, computers, and pretty much everything else with a screen, Balkan parents are more or less on the same level as monkeys. Maybe even below that. So instead of putting some effort into learning a few things, it's up to us, children, not to teach them, but to do things for them. That includes switching from HDMI 1 to HDMI 2 when the TV is apparently broken, if I use my parents' words, or simply writing email for them and getting yelled at for not reading their minds. Although us, children, are always down to help them, mainly because we don't have a choice, when it comes to email passwords, that's just something I simply can't understand. Email passwords should be known by one person only, because they protect something personal that should be kept private. But when a Balkan dad forgets his password, it's not his fault. Oh no, he will start yelling at you for not remembering his password that he's never told you in the first place. And even if he did tell me his password, I have 20 different passwords for every website I've ever logged into that I have to keep somewhere in the back of my head, so trust me, I'm not remembering a new one, especially if it doesn't belong to me. Apologizing to their kids. Blind watching TV. Actually, there is one electronic device that Balkan dads especially do come in contact with on a daily basis. TV. That doesn't mean they know how to use it properly, they can just about find the ex-Yugoslavian TV channels and that's about it, but that doesn't change the fact that they can watch it for hours and hours after they come home from work. I always find it fascinating how my dad, who lives in Slovenia, watches the weather forecast for Belgrade, which is in Serbia, a completely different country with completely different weather. But I really don't want to judge what he chooses to watch. What I do want to judge though is how Balkan dads watch TV. If my calculations are correct, every Balkan dad currently alive should be in their 50s or 60s, maybe even 40s, but that's quite a stretch. Which means that they get tired, fast, and they tend to fall asleep while watching TV. The sentence I've just said is actually only partially correct. They don't fall asleep, they watch TV with their eyes closed. There's a difference here. How do I know this? Well, if you try to take the remote away from him, or if you change the channel, he will immediately tell you to get the f*** away from him because he's still watching some random farmers making bear sausage. Speaking to each other. If you have friends that have Balkan parents, or if you ever get invited to a Balkan home, you need to come prepared. Not in terms of gifts, you need to come prepared emotionally. As soon as you enter the house, you'll understand why I'm telling you this. See, Balkan people, they enjoy speaking to each other. Their conversations can literally last for hours and hours, especially when alcohol is on the table. But a non-Balkan will quickly realize that their conversations are not normal. They're mostly composed of yelling at each other, completely random and unnecessary swearing, and cursing each other's moms. So take this as a reminder if you ever find yourself in a Balkan home. They're not constantly arguing, that's just the way they speak to each other. Plus, if you're a non-Balkan, they will speak to you completely normally and even act civilized. So don't be scared.